What is up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day 25 of my 31 days of horror, and today I will be talking about a George Romero film, and it is not one of the Dead films. It is Monkey Shines from the year 1988, and I had never seen this one before. It's a first time watch for me. This is actually Scream Factory, and I picked this up at a cash and culture. Just thought it was kind of a cool find, and you know, I'm not really familiar with pretty much any of Romero's movies besides the Dead films, and probably like, I think I've seen like 2 others of his, but had never seen this one. So the story with this one is you have a man who one day he goes for a jog. It's something that I believe he does every morning, and while he's jogging, there's this horrible accident where he gets kind of thrown into the middle of the street, and a truck hits him, and after getting surgery and all that, he is left paralyzed from the neck down. So of course he is very kind of just bitter and sort of over life, and just really getting annoyed with all the people around him who are trying to like help him in a way, but they're also being kind of annoying about it. So he's just kind of like over it, essentially. And one day his friend introduces him to this monkey named Ella, and the monkey is pretty much trained to be his sort of, what do you call it, guide monkey, I guess you can say. It's kind of his assistant in a way, and this monkey's able to do all the stuff that he can't do, like answer the phone or, you know, bring him stuff and just do basic stuff to help him out whenever other people might not be around to do so. So he becomes really fond of this monkey. It kind of really changes his life and makes him have a better positive outlook on life. But then the monkey starts kind of anticipating all his thoughts and getting more and more inside his mind, and some people end up being in a bit of danger because of this monkey. And you also have the guy who, you know, is kind of behind the monkey and its abilities. He's just, you know, doing all this shady stuff with like medicines and drugs, and that's kind of what's leading this monkey Ella to act the way it's acting. So you know, your main dude here, his name's Alan in the movie, he decides that he has to kind of put a stop to this and before it's too late. So that's what's going on here. Pretty much just monkey gone wrong, I guess you could say. I didn't really know what this movie was about going into it. I didn't even really read the back of the cover or anything like that. I just, you know, saw the cover, thought it was kind of weird. The title's kind of weird, and it's kind of a longer movie, so I kind of put it off for quite a while now, and I'm happy I finally got to watch it because it's one of those ones that surprised me with how much I actually really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a long movie, but you're kind of just along for the story, and what happens to this guy where he's completely paralyzed, that's one of my biggest fears in life. There's like certain diseases and like disabilities that I just think would be the worst thing to ever happen to you, and I always pray it doesn't happen to me. And paralysis, especially that type where you can't move at all besides like your head and neck and all that, I think that would be terrifying and horrible, and it's really helpless, and you definitely get that sense throughout this movie, and they do a good job with that. There's certain scenes where he's kind of, you know, fighting with his caregiver. They kind of just don't see eye to eye, and they get on each other's nerves, and the caregiver is kind of fed up with him because of how he's behaving and stuff like that, and he's kind of annoyed at her too because of how, you know, rude she's being. And you know, there's a scene where she leaves the room and he's kind of screaming for her, and it's just really kind of scary to think like, you know, these people can just be laying there and then their caregiver might give up on them and then walk away, and then they're pretty much fucked, I guess you can say, with that. So there's certain scenes in this movie that really portray that pretty well. Other scenes involving his mother and stuff like that that I like. It kind of adds like its own element of horror to the movie. And you know, I always like these movies where you do have a character who is handicapped or impaired or something like that, and it just adds a new aspect of horror to it because it makes them seem more vulnerable and helpless. And like I said, this movie does a good job with that. The monkey, I really like the monkey character. There's a scene at the end that actually makes me pretty sad, even though the monkey is kind of doing bad things. You know, it's not really its fault, but I think they do a good job with just the relationship between the man and this, you know, I keep calling it the monkey, but monkey's name is Ella, and I just like the relationship. It's kind of cute in a way. He's just really happy with this monkey and having it do all this helpful stuff for him, and it just really works out, and it's cool just seeing Ella use the telephone and stuff like that. Once again, really good job with just that relationship and stuff like that. Other characters in this movie, I think also fit in pretty well. Like I said, he's got his mother, and she's just kind of annoying right from the start. You could tell she's just kind of that annoying character, typical mom who is a little overbearing and kind of is a little selfish in a way and wants things done her way, and also just wants to be like up her son's butt all the time. And once again, that just adds to the anxiety feeling you get throughout this movie, is because he's dealing with annoying side characters in the film, and he can't move, and he's pretty much just stuck dealing with these certain people. So I like that about it as well. Overall, I think the story, like I said, it keeps your interest. You want to see how it all plays out and how it all comes to an end. And the ending, I feel like, might be almost a little too much of a happy ending. Like, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, and I don't know all the science and whatnots and things that can happen and things that can't happen, but I feel like, let's just say the guy gets kind of lucky by the end, and in a way, though, it is nice, because, like I said, I think it's just a depressing thing that he's going through, and, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone in the world. I know there are actually people, unfortunately, like that, who are completely paralyzed, and I just, all the power to them, because I just think that would take a lot of strength to want to keep on living, I guess you can say. So, the ending, you kind of get like a more of a happy ending. And I found with Romero's movies, the ones that I have seen, obviously all the Dead films and stuff like that, he kind of has the same vibe throughout them, where while it's dealing with serious topics, there's always some quirkiness, like with the music and maybe just a few lighthearted comments and stuff like that. And you definitely get that throughout this movie too. I feel like some of the the musical score is a little more on the lighthearted side, and there are some, just funny-ish lines thrown in there, and I actually like it. I think it works well, and it's definitely something I've noticed throughout Romero's films, because he usually does do whether it's a serious topic, he always throws in just sort of those quirky aspects to keep things from getting too overly depressing or serious, and I do dig that about his movies, and I do want to check out the rest of his filmography as well, because I enjoyed this one quite a bit. So Monkey Shines, I give this an 8 out of 10. Definitely check it out if you have not. I definitely recommend this one. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day 25 of my 31 days of horror. And as always, I will see you tomorrow for day 26.